What interests me the most about becoming the next assistant athletic director at Deerfield High School is joining the Warrior family and being able to help all 31 programs achieve greatness. Also, being able to wear the red and gray and knowing the history of the athletic department, 9 state titles, multiple CSL championships, multiple CSL South division championships, individual awards and accomplishments. Those are some things that I'm looking forward to the most. My experience with event coordinating, I've done that before in the past. Planning, being able to schedule things as being a head coach are things that I have been able to do and do successfully for the past 12 years. And another thing that interests me and things I'm looking forward to is helping out with the budgeting and the accounting area. I have an accounting background as well. But the thing that I'm really looking forward to the most when it comes to working for the athletic department is working with the student athletes every single day, getting to know them, getting to be there with them during their successes, during their failures, being with the coaches, being able to help aid in growing coaches and finding new coaches and hiring and everything that has to do with just growing the athletic department and growing all 31 programs is really exciting for me. I was lucky enough to be an event coordinator in the winter seasons, and I was able to, do all the responsibilities of the athletic director department when it came to setting up contests, making sure that referees arrive, making sure that everyone needs to get to where they need to go, being able to just be a part of those events and be a fan, but also be the administrator on duty. So I was able to and lucky enough to do a lot of that. I'm also able to, as a head coach, I'm able to schedule my own non-conference and Saturday tournaments, and we do that a lot. Non-cons happen and then they go away. New coaches come and they don't want to keep doing anything. So we're always on the lookout for new opportunities, and especially on those Saturday tournaments when we can, be a part of bigger competition. As my first year last season as the girls' head coach for tennis, I was able to successfully open and run a 32-team 6-site tournament. One of those sites was at Harper College, so I was able to effectively communicate and coordinate all of that to run that 2-day tournament, which I was, really, really proud of. And I didn't start that until the day after I got hired when I was on vacation up in Michigan in July. And so I was really proud that we were able to do that, but it was also an opportunity to show that I could, effectively communicate and effectively coordinate a very large tournament. When it comes to transportation, I was able to effectively make sure that our buses were available for us every single day last season for the girls when we were off site because of construction, and just checking in with our coordinator that takes care of transportation, just making sure weekly that we have what we need to ensure that, we show up after school and we have keys for a van or the bus is there. When it comes to managing conflict and last minute changes, I prioritize open communication. I make sure that I am 100% available to the people in the way that we communicate, whether that's through text, whether that's through emails, and that's also using multiple avenues of communicating as well, face-to-face as well, when people come in and stop in the office. I like to use a centralized scheduling tool. I love to use Google Sheets, and I love to color coordinate things and map everything out. And I like to plan out and share out. I don't have any secrets when it comes to the athletic department because we're working for 31 other programs, and we want to be able to see that. I am consistent, but I am also compassionate, and I understand that things happen, and we're able to be flexible, especially when it comes to scheduling, and make sure that when situations arise and they're out of our control, that we effectively communicate that, but we problem solve and plan. I believe the job as the assistant athletic director is to help coordinate, promote, elevate, and celebrate. And that's what we're doing with our coaching staff to foster a positive and competitive athletic environment. We lead by example. While we are consistent and we're fair decision makers, we are looking at things from other people's lenses, not just from our perspective. We're trying to understand that when there's an issue or something that needs to be done, that a coach comes to us, that they are very involved and dedicated to that program. And then we're trying to be very involved and dedicated to all 31 programs, but we do have to see it from their lens and try to be able to look at it that way and be able to help at least compromise in that situation. I want to help create and foster a positive, athletic-centered environment, all while balancing competition and well-being at the same time, right? Knowing that the goal is to win, but also making sure that we are teaching more than just winning here at Deerfield High School. That's a collaborative development. That happens with an emphasis on a growth mindset with absolute clear communication. And the way that we would do that is we regularly mentor and give our coaches feedback. We go together to have professional development opportunities. I go for assistant athletic director opportunities as well. We encourage our coaches to seek those out and be able to just be lifelong learners and be the best people that we can be. One example that I can give you that I share about a mentor developing a coach in the past is my very first year at Buffalo Grove High School. I was able to actually get a senior to come out for his first year of high school tennis. He moved in from Poland the year before, and he didn't play high school tennis. He was playing in the indoor circuits. So I was able to find him and tell him, hey, we got a great group of guys. Why don't you come and join the team? He ended up making state and made a pretty nice run in the conference tournament. And after a couple of years of going to play collegiate tennis, he sought me out and he said, hey, I want to coach for you. And we actually had an opening, and he coached for a couple of years until his original job, he got promoted. But I think that was the greatest compliment of all, of just helping him become a coach and seeing him as a high school student and then as a young adult and then as a full-fledged adult be able to come back and give to the community and give to the program that gave to him. That was a really special moment that we had. I remember one time, it was actually just last year as my first season as the girls head coach. We had 6 amazing seniors that were a part of the program for all 4 years. I was lucky enough to actually start my career with the girls tennis program just those 4 years ago when they were freshmen. And I was a football coach for 7 years before that at our high school. And then I stepped down because of family reasons. And then that was right in the middle of COVID. And all of a sudden, my wife wanted to go down to work, so I immediately tried to get back into coaching. Couldn't get back into football, so I was lucky to land with the girls' tennis program as a frosh soft coach. And then I remember, seeing these girls and it being my first year and watching them grow and develop. And then fast forward to senior year, last year of school, there's a lot riding on colleges and other things, and maybe financial situations. But anyway, there was this girl in particular who just wasn't going to come out for one reason or another, and she was part of those 6 seniors. And so I was able to get her schedule and go and talk to her and just give her the support that maybe she was looking for, and also collaborating with the other girls and the other assistant coaches, just checking in on her. Just seeing if it feels like she was going to make the right decision or not. Not pressuring her in any way, but just knowing that I never want a student athlete to regret a decision that they made, especially in the moment when they still have an opportunity. And the student athlete ended up coming out. She ended up having an amazing season, and she ended up being a very big part of our success. And at the end of the year, at our our awards ceremony banquet that we had, one of the things that her and her mom said was that they were just very thankful for, us not giving up on them, and, understanding that they needed, a platform to be able to talk about what they were going through and what they were doing. And once they were heard and once they knew that they were valued and they were wanted, that the girl, wanted to play all along, and she came out, and it was an amazing experience. And, that was something that I was really, really proud of, because I never ever want a student athlete to walk away too early from this sport or any sport, because all too often, the sport walks away from us eventually, and we can no longer continue at the capacity that we're going, especially after high school. I mentioned this in a question before, but I really am proud of the 32 team tennis tournament that I created last fall when it comes to showing how you can work together with an athletic department and work together with other community members to make something happen. And, it was really a combined effort when it came to the 27 other teams that joined, we had a couple of teams that had multiple entries, and then there was also a number of layers and pieces to it when it came to, like I said, getting other courts available, getting an outside court available from Harper. We had to sign a bunch of documents with liability and insurance and all those other things that is usually not done when you're just holding a regular tennis tournament or a regular tournament, because it's agreed upon through the other schools. And then coordinating all the travel, coordinating buying awards and buying tennis balls, and making sure that everyone knows where they need to go, and the constant communication when it came to coaches. And some coaches had individual questions, and some coaches needed a little bit of help when it came to where they're going and what they're doing. And so being able to work together with the athletic department, going to my AD and saying, here's what I need. And the answer, I think the best answer that he gave is like, let's find the how, or let's find the yes to be able to make happen what we were setting out to accomplish initially. And I'd be honest, like there were times during the process where I thought it could all fall apart. But we were able to secure sites, we were able to secure awards, we were able to secure tennis balls, we were able to make sure that transportation was good, communication was nice, tight, and effective, and we were able to run a very smooth tournament. And I'll even share the link and the post that the press that we got for that tournament, because I'm just super excited for that, and I'm super proud of the accomplishment of just getting that done. And I could pat myself on the back and take all the credit, but I can't. There were a number of people involved. There was a data manager that was involved. There's an athletic department, multiple athletic departments involved. There was Harper College was involved, and so and the coaches were involved, and the players and parents were involved too, in just running a smooth tournament. And so I couldn't be happy enough and thankful enough of all of the people that helped. And I even got student volunteers from my boys tennis team to act as site managers, and other people stepped in and were site managers as well from other schools with their assistant coaches. It was really just a great collaborative effort, and to do it in such little time and to be so effective, I'm excited to see where it evolves in the future, even if I'm not a part of the coordinating anymore.